Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herold here on Badlands Media. I'm John Herold, your host, and today should be an interesting one because we finally got what we're told is some resolution to a long-running question mark dating back to January 6th or 5th, the night of early morning January 6th of 2020, 2021. Oh, man, I'm all out of sorts already. This will be a fun one. The bomber, the J6 pipe bomber, has been finally revealed, and it completely contradicts some previous reporting. Maybe we'll talk about that too. But that's an interesting one. The FBI finally caught him, and it's a guy, not a girl. We'll discuss that. There's some Hegseth news, the IG report coming out, Signalgate. Mike Lindell's running for governor. What else do I got? Some Pentagon lawsuit with the press corps, a whole bunch of fun. And we'll see what happens on Twitter. One of Trump's pardons, I think, is kind of interesting. I want to talk about pardons a little bit, or commutations, and the principle of it. Oh, this is pimping, as the kids say. What does that mean? Am I pimping? Three Putt Paul. Hey there, Badlands. First time on the chat. Hey, John. See you in Kansas. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the chat. Everybody be nice to Three Putt Paul. We like our newcomers. Richard wrote, John, don't tell me that Natasha Bertrand is a good reporter. CanCon says so. I don't believe that there is such a thing as a good reporter. I don't like the label reporter, at least not as far as I describe it, because everybody that calls themselves reporters is like a mouthpiece for the regime. And I think they're liars. Rocky Top Apologist. My son-in-law's into Fuentes. Should I be worried? Well, if you're not okay with your son being gay, probably. Unless you didn't mean it that way. Son-in-law. Assuming that was a bad joke. Didn't think it all the way through. Anyway, yeah, Bunny, happy Thursday. Let's get a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll get cracking. First up, we got some MyShroom Vibe.
Hey there, Earthlings. I'm here on the streets of New York to tell you about something that's literally out of this world. You know, traveling between dimensions really takes it out of you, but I've found the perfect solution. MyShroom Vibe can now be your Shroom Vibe. Elevate your frequency. Get microdose capsules, gummies, and chocolate bars at myshroomvibe.com. Use code BADLANDS for 10% off your order. Trust me, galaxy hopping demands balance, and ours comes from Mother Nature. Organic, not synthetic. It's the real deal. Cy Lee, if you know what I mean. Check it out. Your frequency will thank you. Visit myshroomvibe.com. Organic goodness, not synthetic. Use code BADLANDS.
Yeah, so I don't even know what that means, Cy Lee, when he says like Cy Lee, if you know what I mean. Don't know what that means. But I will say I do occasionally use the focus ones, the microdose focus ones, and I dig it. I'm not in the recreational type of use like maybe some other Badlands hosts. But yeah, our Hody says, I see that O'Keefe got invited to the Pentagon press room. When will we see Badlands representing in the briefings? If they ever get back to us and allow us in. Remember when Carolyn Levitt was like, yeah, everybody, we're going to do the new media. Just apply. Here's the link. Nobody, at least as far as I know, that is considered new media actually got an invite. It was all same old, Con Inc. Like their new media was like Tim Pool and Jack Posobiec. I don't consider those people to be new media. Real quick, we also have Goldco as a sponsor this morning. If you wouldn't wait to buy fire insurance when your house is already on fire, so why wait to help protect your money? I'm sure you're aware things are looking a little dicey out there. The economy, global tensions, domestic tensions, you name it. Are you surprised that gold just hit another record high? Silver's obviously going up too, and I think it's being artificially suppressed, not financial advice, but we've been saying this for a while now that it's going to keep going up. Again, not financial advice, but I would encourage you to give this a real look. Are you guys finally waking up? This is why we've partnered with Goldco. They can help you safeguard your savings with precious metals, and they make the process incredibly easy. So if you're ready to protect everything you've worked hard for, go to badlandsgold.com. You'll get Goldco's free 2025 gold and silver kit. You can qualify for up to 10% in free bonus silver. It's one of the best offers out there, hands down. Badlandsgold.com. Click the link in the video description. Okay. Let's see what we got for you. Oh, and if there's anything you guys want to talk about, as always, feel free to participate in the chat. I typically do my best to go through and read that as we go. No update on the Doge website, as usual. The only update on the White House website is honoring the memory of Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, West Virginia Army National Guard. She's the one that was shot in Washington, D.C. by that Afghan national. The story that's making the news. We have this from the Department of Defense. So yesterday I was talking to you about the Signalgate story with Pete Hegseth. I think, did I talk about that on the show? I know I talked about it on the Power Hour. I don't remember if I talked about it on this show. They all kind of blur together. But the mainstream media was trying to use this story of the Signalgate again as a knock against Pete Hegseth and an attempt to delegitimize him. I do think it's interesting that the dynamic between the Pentagon and the press corps has been, I don't know if restricted is the right word, but it probably is. There's been a change. And you see all these reports, like new contracts. He had like 29 of 30 press agencies up and leave the Pentagon because of the changes that they were implementing. And a lot of it had to do with leaks to the press, leaks to Congress. There's been rules and implementations put forth to, for the proper channels for DoD personnel to go through if they want to get something out there. And while all that's taking place, you have this Signalgate story kind of running in the background. The IG has been investigating for like 9 months now. And one of the conclusions he came to was leaked to the press. CNN, Jake Tapper, they wrote a story about it yesterday, saying basically they tried to spin it as if Hegseth did something wrong. I haven't seen anything to show that he did anything wrong. He has declassification authority. Like anything he says is declassified is pretty much declassified as the Secretary of War. But one of the reports is out. There's one more that's coming, and I'm waiting on that one. But this first one, kind of a nothing burger. I'm being totally honest. But now you know why the Pentagon has been very diligent about closing down these leaks. Because right now, the irregular warfare that's going on between, the left and the right, or the evil side, good side, Trump and the deep state, a lot of it has to do with leaks, one-sided, out of context leaks from within these agencies. And they're really trying to clamp down on that. They understand the importance of narrative warfare. But yeah, people do it. They'll take out of context stuff, won't get both sides. One-sided, out of context, anything, by no means should be taken seriously. Oh, where'd the chat go? Did I exit out of the chat? No, I didn't. There we go. Guy's been arrested in Bemidji for taking photos of young girls' private parts. My daughter was one of them. Oh my gosh, Nikki, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is awful. Nikki, were you the one I met in Minneapolis who has a friend in the FBI? Because I don't think I ever got back to you. And I think I would like to. CSUSB Geochem, there are sites online. I think I last remember he submitted to a grab box that came with one albino. He got he was waiting to the minute to order it. What? I'm confused. That must have been responding to somebody else. Okay, Nick, that is you. You should, I don't know if you saw my number. You can text me or shoot me an email. Yes, I know Richard Ward, the news is fake and gay, but this is a show where I read the headlines, so give me a break. Yeah, I did go through the report. It's 65 pages. I mostly skimmed it at this point. This isn't the report I'm super excited about. This other report here, where's it at? This one, a separate DoD OIG report, evaluation of the Secretary of Defense's reported use of a commercially available messaging application for official business, provides facts and circumstances related to the specific events that prompted the request. That's the one I'm looking for. And so that'll hopefully be coming sometime today, we're told. I think I saw, let me find this on Twitter. I need to do a better job of saving the links to the things I see as I see them. Probably make the flow of the show improve rather significantly. But here's what CanCon shared. And it was something from Elisa Slock. And I just read the Signalgate report. The unclassified version will be released tomorrow for the American public to judge for themselves. The report reinforced what was already publicly known. Pete Hegseth used a personal cell phone and an unclassified app to share sensitive operational information, including strike times and specific weapon systems used. That kind of sensitive information on a hackable personal cell phone and DoD prohibited app put the lives of our service members at risk. If any uniformed military officer had done the same, he or she would be held accountable. One more likely, they would simply have owned up to the additional risk they brought to their fellow service members. Secretary Hegseth should have taken accountability from the start. His failure to take basic accountability 8 months ago has made this a bigger problem, and it is a marked trend in his leadership. Marked trend? Don't they say marked in this context? Anyway, okay, now do the Clinton email server. This is the thing. This is what I hate. Politics are so annoying. And I know it's all fake and stupid and it's all political theater, but nobody ever understands their own hypocrisy and how easy it is to call most of these people out on their hypocrisy. It's so dumb. And she's definitely an asset still, in my opinion, Senator Elisa Slotkin, former CIA. But CanCon did say this in response. What if CISA advised them to use Signalgate during the Biden admin, like a month before Trump came in? Maybe you should check in with Catherine Marr, the chair of the Signal Foundation board and CEO of NPR with previous work for the National Democrat Institute, UNICEF, the World Bank, Access Now, the Atlantic Council, and U.S. State Department Foreign Policy Board. We highlighted a couple things here. The guidance specifically addresses highly targeted individuals who are senior government and senior official positions and likely to possess information of interest to these threat actors. I will say, though, when it comes to the Signalgate thing, like the Department of Defense, the United States Department of War, the United States military, we're sold, our tax dollars are used in large quantities because they are the best of the best, right? Like $1 trillion a year now or something for a defense budget. You think they would be able to like put together maybe their own app that they can use for messaging where they don't have to worry about this stuff? Should we really be using a commercially available app? And this was my issue with it from the start. They're right. It never should have happened. We can play the game where we speculate like, oh, it was a trap. They're trying to bait and all these things. Totally possible. Yeah. But regardless, we don't know that to be true for sure. That's speculative. And based on principle alone, the use of like Signal or anything else like that to be having these discussions shouldn't be warranted. And the hypocrisy goes both ways. Like I just called out Slotkin, now do the Clinton email server. We can't be complaining about her not being held accountable for that or, not, excusing that away at all. And then look at this and be like, oh, it's nothing. Hypocrisy goes both ways. So don't be a hypocrite. Squirt, here to support John's reading skills. What I should do, instead of like a legal fund GoFundMe, I should start a GoFundMe to get me some hooked on phonics or something. Average Joe reader can't make most of these discernment, man. Most of this discernment, man, it's scary. Yeah, but keep in mind something we discussed last night in the Power Hour, which was a pretty good episode, I'd say. Top 50% episode of a DPH. It's what was I gonna say? Narrative. Oh, the average normie doesn't care or get in the weeds on hardly any of this stuff. I am curious. Do you guys have friends outside of the Badlands community? Maybe not. There might be people that don't, but like I have friends outside the Badlands community, and those people don't know half the stuff that's going on. They probably never even heard of Signalgate. They probably, they might see the big headlines like the J6 bomber arrested, stuff like that, but they don't care. They don't get into the weeds. They don't read the Paul Sperry reports. They don't care about the Doge numbers. It's different. And if you have friends outside of it that are in the weeds like that, I'd be surprised Kurt K23, John, do your kids give you the stink eye when you read them bedtime stories? See, that's the thing. I don't read them bedtime stories. I make them up on the fly. I ask each one of them to give me like something, anything, a person, an animal, just basically a noun. But it could be anything. It could be a place. It could be what they're doing. They each give me one, and then I make a story up that incorporates both. And they're stellar. My stories are top-notch. Give Sing Go is better than Go. I was joking. I'm not going to do either. But I probably could benefit from some hooked on phonics. All my friends and families, or all my friends fall for the headlines without knowing the history. Yeah, and do you guys think there's going to be anything that gets these people interested in like wanting to understand what's below the headlines? I doubt it. Most of these people don't care, or if they do care, they don't have time to like sit down and consume all this stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't know what's going to get them to care. And that is a problem with, especially with our election stuff. This is another topic I want to talk about tonight. Last night, before I was going to bed, after the power hour, I was listening to I don't even know where I saw it. I was just like scrolling through Twitter, and I came across this Tim Pool clip. I want to show you guys, and I promise I'm going somewhere with this. Where's that? Here. So let's watch a little bit of this, because it's talking about the Candace Owens thing. TPUSA came out with a response. They scheduled a live stream. They're gonna, detail their side of the story, all that stuff. The drama is stupid, and this is from somebody who had to like come out and correct the record for his own behalf. Like, I understand what they're trying to do and why they're doing it, but I still understand that the entire situation, the saga, the drama, is gay and retarded. But listen to what Tim Pool said here.
Construction and experience the same thing. My coworkers are all in on the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. If the Republicans lose in the midterms, I believe that Candace Owens is wholly responsible. She is one of the biggest podcasts on the right, doing everything to go to war with the organization that helped get Trump elected. Turning Point specifically was going out and registering people to vote. Without Charlie, it's in trouble. Turning Point needs to be able to go out and rally young people and register them to vote. And she's doing everything she can to destroy that. And that is going to, I suppose, it's going to rip out the coffers on the right. There is no organization like Turning Point that exists anywhere else that has the resources and the reach. And without Charlie, I'm not sure that they can make it. But I can tell you this, Candace lighting a Molotov and throwing it through the window is not helping. And it's the most demoralizing thing ever. Additionally, all of the fucking cowards on the right who are too scared to say anything about her, because she tweets at me talking shit or whatever, and then a bunch of people come and flood our chat. I could give a single flying fuck. You can come and you can burn everything I have to the ground, and I will happily live in a van down by the river. I don't care to be number one. I don't need to be number one. What I care about is what is true and what will help this country and what works. And she is a fucking scumbag. Okay. And she's getting worse every day. And she crossed the line. She continually crosses the line every day, insinuating that Turning Point literally killed the guy who made them all rich. And I hear this in the streets, and at a certain point, I'm like, holy shit, we're going to lose the midterms. We're going to lose the midterms. Then we're going to lose in 2028. And it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken.
I'm gonna stop there. And there's so many things I want to say. Like the first comment he made where he was talking about, like, I don't care about being number one. I don't care. Like, you can burn everything to the ground. I mean, it's a nice thing to say, but he also wouldn't let people talk about election fraud so he could remain on YouTube. Like, to me, that's not caring about the truth. But this context, like when he said this, he's like, we're going to lose the midterms because Candace Owens and TPUSA are ripping the movement apart. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, this is probably the fourth or fifth excuse I've seen today, different excuse, having to do with why we're losing the midterms. And none of these people are talking about election fraud. And that's an issue. So I started a list, and you guys, if you find these out in the wild, you should respond. And eventually I'll update this list as we go. But these are 11 of them that I went through last night after I saw this. I thought of the 4 that I had in my head, and then I just searched midterms on Twitter and started scrolling, and excuse after excuse after excuse. Trump doesn't know what he's doing. If he doesn't insert something retarded here, then we're done. Candace Owens is attacking TPUSA. Tim Pool. Trump is too pro-Israel. Anti-Semites. Trump isn't pro-Israel enough. The Jews. Nobody has been arrested yet. The Epstein files. Republicans aren't focused on the economy enough. The filibuster. H-1B immigration policy. Tucker Carlson said things Mark Levin didn't like. We don't have a strong enough ground game. Like, these are actual things I've seen online. And this was 5 minutes of searching. I wanted to go to bed after that. But think of what we're doing here, guys. We are giving them the ammunition they need, the narrative fodder they need to steal the election. And instead of looking at, our elections are illegitimate, fraudulent, we can't trust them, machines, all these things, we're going to be looking at, it was Candace's fault. She said she asked too many questions and called out too many people at TPUSA. Or whatever. Like, you could list any of these reasons. Doesn't matter. And people will use them all. But the real reason isn't any of them. Excuses like this, while we have a fraudulent election system, keeps us in the system. It excuses it away. We're ignoring the root of the problem and the root of most of the problems in this country because we're not willing to talk about it. And instead we're, the filibuster. If we don't end the filibuster, we're done. The stuff is so dumb, and they're doing it. It's not even January yet. We're 11 months before the midterms or whatever. Can you imagine the excuses as things go on? It's going to be relentless. So I personally think we need to start calling this stuff out. We can look at some of these and there'll be real issues and problems that we need to address. I don't like that people haven't been arrested yet. I also think we could probably end the filibuster. I don't want immigrants here. Our immigration policy, I have issues with it. I'd much rather shut down the border entirely. But none of that equates to losing the elections. They're fraudulent until proven otherwise. And any discussion without including that is irrelevant, in my opinion. Misbehaving Irishman. I never followed Candace, but I do now. That girl is onto something. She may be, but I don't follow her either. I don't know. I really don't care about that whole thing. The whole thing's been weird since it happened. The initial, everybody needs to unite, right? Everybody needs to unite about going after the cancel culture thing, which I chose not to participate in. I thought it was dumb. And it was part of this controlled op dynamic thing. And now we have TPUSA and Candace Owens giving us one of the best examples of a controlled opposition dynamic that there is, when they both came from the same, they both originated from the same place, didn't they? It's this weird distraction op, divisive op, excuse for why we're losing the midterms op. There's multiple ops going on here. I don't know exactly what it is. I just see the clips that I see as we go. But they're sucking people in and then dividing them into categories. And it's a division op. Not a fan. The furry shooter with a gimpy leg and prolapsed a-hole. Just cook my head hurts. They do all of this to distract us from the real problems. They also give us a few crumbs here and there to try to keep us satisfied. We need to pray for our illegitimate government. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think so. One of our commenters, Gator Rob, he says he can't comment in the chat somehow, and I don't think that's. You're not muted or anything on our end, man. So I don't know what's going on with that. And I would love to see it come back anytime. If everyone could just find Badlands. You know, I'd love to say that too, but I know we're not for everybody. And like, I know even if every person on earth listened to us all day long, like, I don't know. That would never happen. Chat is very glitchy right now. I know people are having issues with the thumbs up. I'm seeing it. John, you got to listen to the last 3 days of Candace. Can somebody summarize it for me? Like 1 or 2 sentences? I just don't have the time. Too much homework I got to do every day lately. Okay, where was I? What was I talking about before the midterm election thing? Oh, let's talk about the pipe bomber. So do you guys remember Blaze Media and their story that they did about the pipe bomber? This was back in, when was it? I don't know when this article was written. Okay, November 8th. This came out. This is while we are at GART. That's right. Former Capitol Police officer, a forensic match for January 6th pipe bomber, sources say. And they called out this lady. Her name is Shawnee Kirchhoff. And where does it say? A forensic analysis of a female former U.S. Capitol Police officer's gait, meaning the way she walks, is a 94% to 98% match to the unique stride of the long-sought January 6th pipe bomber suspect, according to a Blaze News investigation confirmed by several intelligence sources. A source close to a congressional investigation of January 6th additionally told Blaze News evidence has emerged recently that pointed toward law enforcement possibly being involved in planning the pipe bombs. So this is then. There's been kind of a debate about it. We were making fun of it at GART. Haven't talked about it since because I figured this was BS. And we have a story now where they arrested somebody. How it took this long, who knows? I'm excited to read the details of this investigation, this report. I wonder if there's been any update. But the FBI arrested a suspect on Thursday in its nearly 5-year investigation into who planted pipe bombs in Washington on the eve of the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot, according to law enforcement officials cited by the Associated Press. The arrest marks the first time investigators have identified a suspect in a case that had remained unresolved for years and fueled widespread speculation. Brian Cole has been named as the suspect and taken into custody. See, I didn't even know we had his name. I just knew it was a male. So this is updated since I looked at it earlier today. An FBI official confirmed the arrest occurred Thursday morning with a Justice Department news conference scheduled later Thursday to formally announce it. The pipe bombs were discovered on the evenings of January 5th evening near the headquarters of the Democratic and Republican National Committees in Washington, D.C. No one was injured, but the FBI previously said both devices were capable of causing deadly harm. So this is wild. I can't believe they actually caught the guy. Why did it take so long? That's the question we should all really be asking. They made an arrest. There's something in here I wanted to find. Brian Cole, no other details. Sorry, hold for process. I need to find something that I saw. I can't remember who. I think it was Zach who told me this. Zach said evidence was collected by Ray's FBI back in 2021. No one is getting $500,000 bounty. So why didn't Ray's FBI in 2021 go arrest this fella? I'm just curious to see his connections. Like I want to unravel the web that surrounds this guy, this investigation, and how they ended up getting him now. It's crazy. In the absence of harder evidence, Republican lawmakers and right-wing media outlets promoted conspiracy theories about the pipe bombs. FBI has 2 top leaders, blah, blah, blah. Investigators hunt for clues. Public attention over the years had centered in part on surveillance video taken the night before the riot, showing the suspect spending close to an hour moving through the surrounding blocks, pausing on a park bench, cutting through an alley, stopping again as a dog walker passed. Agents paired their video review with a broad sweep of digital records. They gathered cell tower data showing which phones were active in the neighborhood at the time and issued subpoenas to several tech companies, including Google, for location information. They also analyzed credit card transactions from hobby shops and major retailers to identify customers who had purchased components resembling those in the 2 explosive devices. Another avenue of the investigation centered on the suspect's shoes, believed to be Nike Air Max Speed Turfs. For learning from Nike that thousands of pairs have been distributed through more than 24 retailers, agents filed subpoenas for credit card records from Foot Locker and other chains as they worked to narrow down potential buyers. Still, for years, they had no solid breakthroughs. But if that's all the information they used, something broke. What was it? "100% gate match is the only valid way." But I mean, if you're this lesbian or chick, female, this one, so unless she had a sex change, totally possible, and maybe she changed her name to Cole or whatever, that's possible. And then Blaze Media was right. But if that's not what happened, wouldn't Blaze Media probably be in a little trouble here for this? Like, you named somebody as a suspect for a pipe bomber, and she doesn't look like she's that into pipes to me. Doesn't look like it's her. So, I don't know. Probably gonna get sued for that. Crazy stuff. Terry M. Christensen, "My gait changes when I wear different shoes." John Solomon says, FBI agents assigned were replaced about 6 weeks ago, and they reviewed old reports to find the breakthrough. I wonder if that's on Twitter. Hold for processing. Play this link from Nikki. Let me see if that works. Sometimes Facebook doesn't work on my computer. Oh, that's the Bemidji thing you're talking about. John, it depends on the actual words Blaze used in the article. Yeah, I'm very familiar with defamation law at this point, especially after the last couple months. Tarot, I don't know how to say that name. Tate RTOT Patriot 17. She's more into scissoring than pipe bombs, it would appear. That's my thoughts too. Okay, let me see if I can find anything from John Solomon. No. Nothing yet anyway. So whatever. We'll move on. But yeah, they captured him. I'm going to read the police report and everything, the filing, the indictment, once it is made public. I don't think it is as of yet. But yeah, curious to dig into it. John has legal training and in-house counsel. Yeah, I've learned a lot the last couple months. Ash is brilliant too, for sure. Michigan court sides with GOP in absentee ballot ID match dispute. Michigan judges ruled in favor of the Republican National Committee, the Michigan Republican Party, and Chesterfield Township Clerk Cindy Berry in a lawsuit over how the state handles absentee ballots with mismatched identification numbers. Why do they have so stupid? I hate our election system, and I hate the news. I hate everything. New York Times sues Department of War over Pentagon press restrictions. New York Times is preparing to file a federal lawsuit in Washington, D.C., challenging new press access restrictions imposed by Department of War. Suit names Department of War, Pete Hegseth, and Chief Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell as defendants, and seeks to strike down a policy rolled out in October that reshaped press access to the Pentagon. Attorneys for the Times are asking the court to declare the policy unconstitutional and block its enforcement. Earlier this week, Hegseth hosted dozens of influencers and content creators at the Pentagon orientation sessions and press briefings. Hegseth's communications team has labeled the group the New Pentagon Press Corps. I didn't even see that. Who did he have? I knew that they had different people in there, but I didn't know he was just bringing in influencers. So stupid. I hate the word influencers too. Gathering. Okay. Laura Loomer, Jack Posobiec, James O'Keefe, R.C. Maxwell shared photos on social media, claiming desks formerly used by outlets like the Washington Post schedule. So dumb. Crazy stuff. What are we saying here? John, the J6 pipe bomber most certainly wasn't going on during Biden's 4 years facing as president. So it's taken less than a year, probably, and a lot of hidden false info planted by Dems trying to hide it. That's a great point. They probably weren't actually looking. Suzy Q20, I'm not going to read that on air, but I have, and I'm not going to comment on it, but thank you for the rant. Keith O'Higgins, John, can we call the January 6th bomber reward Coles Cash? Can we call the J6 bomber reward Coles Cash? That's funny. I like that. Yeah, the reward money, that's not going anywhere. Nothing burger, I suppose. New K should have used a vibrating green phallus for the pipes. Now that would have been quite a story. Yeah, could you imagine a pipe bomber using a dildo for the bomb? Whatever happened to the green dildo thing? Is that the WNBA not in season anymore? Okay. I'm gonna move along here since the chat is getting distracted. I do think this is interesting, kind of funny in a lot of ways. Like Mike Lindell files paperwork signaling possible Minnesota governor bid. And you know Mike Lindell, I mean, I'm a supporter of him. Badlands, mypillow.com, promo code Badlands. If you're going to get your pillows or blankets or pretty much anything, you need a robe, some slippers, towels, bedding. Support Mike Lindell, support Badlands in the process. But he's filed this paperwork indicating that he's going to probably launch a run for Minnesota governor in next year's midterm elections, though he says the final decision hasn't been made. But he is the candidate that's like, elections are stolen everywhere. Like me personally, I would never run in a local election while we use the current election system that we have. I feel like it's a waste of time and money. And there's only risk, like putting my family through that. I already have to deal with enough lies, slander, BS, defamation, all that. Like, why would I want to up that level? And Mike Lindell's involved in multiple lawsuits. I can't imagine that he would think that the voting machines used in Minnesota would allow him to win as the guy who's like, our voting machines are illegitimate and fraudulent. But hey, somebody's got to do it. I suppose if I lived there, I would pretend to vote for him by, voting. But I know it probably wouldn't count. Pam Bondi talking. She confirmed the guy is charged for the planting of the bomb. Is she talking right now? Are we covering it on Badlands? Probably. Let's see if I can find it. Where you at, Pam? Okay, so it's not actually live right now. Or it is, and I just can't. Oh, here we go.
No new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work. Have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear. There was no new tip. There was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team along with ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day to restore the public's trust. We hope that today is a significant step towards that progress. We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's capital safer and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
Let's go.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy. This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens.
If I'm being totally honest, guys, I hate these kind of press conferences. Like, I don't need to hear how good you think your team did. Like, this is the job you're hired to do, right? Like, you don't need to just come up there and be like, this is what we did, the job that we were supposed to do, 5 years later. But congrats to everybody here for getting the guy. Like, give us details and then get out of there.
Through the legal process, as we have committed under this Attorney General. We are the most transparent law enforcement operation in U.S. history, but we are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent. And that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible, while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve and to deliver.
The bombs never went off, right? Like, who are the victims? Like, this is an honest question. Who are the victims of the case? Is it just everybody, all of us? Just humanity? Because it was kind of a weird thing. Like, I don't know. Who are the victims?
Deliver on President Trump's promise to secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country to make sure that Americans are.
Hold on. Miss Riser Tires in the chat. I agree, John, 100%. It's my biggest complaint. You don't get a cookie for cleaning your room. You get a cookie for cleaning my room. I could go for a cookie. Miss Riser Tire needs to bring cookies to the next GART because your hotel room is clean. That counts. That's an interesting prospect, though. I like the principle of what you just said. Agreed, John. Do their job and keep doing it, minus patting themselves on the back. Like, what is the point of these press conferences, if we're being honest? I wonder if they're even going to take questions.
Are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhood.
Richard Moore, John, this is theater for retarded normies now. Wife asking pipe bomb who died. I've been talking with poor women and nothing sank in. I'm sorry.
And that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital, and they now have that trust thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington field office, and I'm honored now to introduce to you Deputy Director Bongino, who spearheaded this investigation.
Ooh.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a
Is this the Are we partaking in the investigation now too?
very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter. And this was a team effort. The director and the attorney general emphasized that it was not a new public tip this came from. This was our internal work at the FBI.
He looks like he's a little stiff. I think there might be one person out there with more pain in their neck than me. I think I'm going to stop listening to this. I can't do it anymore. Like, we're not really getting anything new. We know they arrested somebody. We don't need to hear the self-congratulations for doing their job. And I'm not even trying to like be critical of the job they're doing. I just don't need the celebratory ribbon cutting of announcing the case. So there's that. What else is there? Did that story? Layoff announcements top 1.1 million this year, the most since 2020 pandemic. Challenger says. Challenger Gray and Christmas said layoff plans totaled 71,321 in November, a step down from the massive cuts announced in October, but still enough to bring the total for 2025 up to 1.17 million. Comms. 17's in their comms. The most cited reason for the month was restructuring, followed by closings and market or economic conditions. That's another thing we discussed last night. You can tell us that everything's great and our pets' heads aren't falling off all you want. But when I see my pet's head on the floor because it fell off, I'm probably going to not believe you. So go watch last night's episode where we discussed that. What else? What time is it? Okay, got a little time. I know I had more stories. Ooh, this one. The commutation of this guy, David Gentile. Not sure if you're aware of who he is. And I'm not. We're gonna learn about this together. Hold on. Because it's just the principle of commutations and pardons that I think I have a problem with. Like, I understand why they do it, but I feel like if you're gonna, no, I'll give my commentary after. Let's read this. He was a certified public accountant. He founded GPB Capital in 2013. They raised 1.6 to 1.8 billion from over 10,000 investors, promising around 8% returns. And then they were convicted in August of 2024 in the Eastern District of New York on securities fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy charges for misrepresenting fund performance and using new investor funds for payouts resembling a Ponzi scheme that defrauded thousands. He received a 7-year prison sentence and a $15.5 million restitution order in May of 2025, entering prison in November. President Trump commuted him after about 12 days served, freeing him from prison and restitution while leaving the conviction intact. They cited prior disclosures to investors and prosecutorial issues under the Biden DOJ, a related civil suit by Letitia James unaffected. Like, so it just has me thinking about commutations and pardons in general. And it makes like Darryl Strawberry, right? He just got recently pardoned or sentenced, whatever, for his tax stuff. Like, what makes them so special? There were other people who committed these crimes. Like, if I commit tax fraud or commit investor fraud, if I started an investor fund like him and did a Ponzi scheme and wire fraud and all these things, and I got put to jail for it, it would be the same crime as this guy, alleged crime. But I'd have to sit in jail. Would I get a pardon? No, probably not. Like, if you're going to pardon somebody or make their crime no longer a reason for them to be either in prison or have to like give the money back, then like it's hypocritical. You should, then everybody who's committed that same crime should get it. Don't you think? Like, I don't know if I like the principle of this. Yeah, Darryl Strawberry. Who said that? CSUSB Geochem. He got a pardon or whatever. Darryl Strawberry pardon. President Trump pardoned former MLB star Darryl Strawberry in early November 2025 for a 1995 tax evasion conviction stemming from unreported income of about $350,000 from autographs and memorabilia sales. Like, there are a lot of people on tax evasion stuff. How come he gets special treatment? Bluz Dave Million, do you have $200 million? I don't. I'm not famous enough. I know, but that's the thing. Special treatment for people with more money or fame or a better story or whatever. What about the common man? If somebody gets pardoned for a crime and your crime that you are in prison for is very similar in nature and the punishment is relative, I feel like anybody with that same crime should get the same pardon. I think it's only fair. And someday when I run for president, and yes, I did say won instead of run. Someday when I run for president, not only am I going to campaign on the 100-year mortgage, but I'm going to campaign on, what are we going to call this? What do we call it? What am I describing here? It's like pardons for everybody, but it's like for people who commit the same crime, just in different variations. We need to think of a clever word and phrase. Co-pardons? I don't know. But it's going to be one of my campaign things. John doesn't pay taxes. Jimmy needs his tax accountant. Trump will be the last president. Phew. John, there's something in the mail on its way to your house. It's not cookies, though. Oh, is it the new native? Rise, right? Badlandsmedia.tv/rise. New native gear. Blanket pardons. Yeah, but I feel like we can come up with a better word for it. Who do you believe more, the FBI or Blaze Media? Talk about a shit-ass choice. I don't believe either of them. But that's why I want to read the documents, see what they got. He has trillions, guys. He's shafting all of us. He owes us all $1 billion for being faithful listeners. You just have to sue first. John, you are absolutely correct. It's the actual no kings principle. Yeah, I just don't like it. Like, I understand the pardon for like wrongful convictions, like somebody who shouldn't be convicted, but I don't like the idea of people getting let out if they actually committed the crime. I mean, actually, I am okay with them getting out, but I just don't like it that other people are in jail for the same crime. Like, then everybody should get out. It's the unfair treatment. Sheet pardons, the spread pardon, patriot pardons, rug pull pardons. We need to get John better news that don't set him up. What's wrong with my news? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with these headlines, bro? These headlines are great. But I do think that's all I got. I mean, but I'm wide open. If you guys want to submit news, tag me on Twitter, DM it to me, whatever. I'm looking for, I'm always looking for more stories to talk about. But I think that's all I got. The co-acquitted, I like that too. You guys are so creative. Whatever I decide, you guys can all be co-campaign chairs. Free Whitey from this white hate culture. The sorry I fired you on apprentice pardons, community commutations. I don't know. There should be a word for it, whatever it is. And what day is it today? Today's Thursday. Let me see what we got in the hopper. I know The Choice went live. It's a great show. You guys got to check that out. The National Christmas Tree Lighting is tonight. That's going to be a great one. Rug Pull Radio. It's Rug Pull. Yeah, Rug Pull Radio's tonight. Sit Rep. Yeah. Stick around. Hit that follow button, guys. Appreciate it. And hit that thumbs up. A couple rants here. Keto Higgins. I already read that one. Nikki 0702. John, I don't have any way to contact you. I gave you our business card with my number on it. Cooper Auto. Actually, you know what? No, it's not. I think I got the same thing though. I think I do have it. I'll get in touch with you. I'll figure it out. And then Keto Higgins, how is Washington, D.C. ever safe with Seth Rich's killer still at large? It's a great question. Great question. Anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow right here on the Daily Herald on Badlands, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Let's get started. That's what she said. That's real good.
Why they stopping me? Stopping me.